You cannot what?
I cannot be wrong.
You cannot. Oh, you cannot be wrong. Yeah, right. Exactly. See, every single error that we make is always going to be the result of thinking, feeling, or believing I know what's going to happen next. But the problem, as I said before, is that this is only an error. It's only an error within the context of what you're trying to accomplish. Now think about what I just said. These are only errors within the context of what you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to accomplish consistency, then these are trading errors. If your objective is not consistency, even though you might say that it is, if the reality of your trading is that it's not consistency, then every single thing that you can do here could result in a winning trade, and it's not an error, obviously, then, is it? If I can hesitate and it ends up in a winning trade, then I did the right thing. If I can jump the gun and I end up in a winning trade, I did the right thing. It's only the accumulation of these errors that cause these massive drawdowns that end up hurting us. Okay, so what we have is the market works the same way in terms of let's say trading works the same way, in that we've got patterns. The patterns repeat themselves, but the outcome to each individual pattern is random. And we know that because there are always different participants making up any particular pattern that might look, sound, or feel or measure exactly the same as the last time that it occurred in the market. Which means that there's always a risk. It's just like a number of you people have read Trading in the Zone. Remember the example I used in Trading in the Zone about working with a trader who came to me for consultations, and he was like a really terrific analyst, but he never made money as a trader, and he blew through a bunch of his family's money and his friends and anybody he could talk into opening up an account for him. And so after going through a lot of people's money and a lot of people being pissed off at him, he came to me for help, and I said, hey, look, you've got a number of different issues here that you're going to have to work through that might take an extended period of time. Why don't you get a job doing something that someone will pay you for, and earn your money legitimately. And so he got a job as an analyst for a clearing firm in Chicago, and he, like I said, he was a good analyst, and they paid him really well for it. And so the president of the firm, who was a retired grain trader, never traded, using technical analysis. He was always down in the soybean pit. And traders, the way traders make money in the pit, especially locals they trade, their mentality and the way they trade and how they make money is very, very different than making direction-based decisions off a screen. But anyway, so in fact, it's so different that you almost really couldn't classify the two as being trading. The guys in the pit would say they're traders. The guys on the screen would say they're traders. There's such a vast difference between the two that one of them can't be trading. But anyway, you'd have to call it something else. You'd have to just call it something else. But anyway, so he sat down with the analyst and to learn about this mysterious technical analysis, and that's exactly what he looked at. It was somewhat mysterious, and the analyst would always talk in real definite terms, very arrogantly, like, okay, this is going to be the high of the day, this is going to be the low of the day. So in one particular day, the market was trading in between what he said was going to be the high, going to be the low, started drifting down to the low, and so the chairman said, hey, so this is going to be the low of the day, right? And he said, yep, that's right, this is the low of the day. So he picked up the phone right next to him with a direct line to the soybean pit and said, sell 2 million bushels at the market. And the soybeans dropped 10 cents in a matter of, like 5 seconds. And the guy's looking like, what the hell happened? Okay, random results. That was the pattern that he was looking at told him that was supposed to be the low of the day. All it takes is one trader somewhere in the world to negate the positive outcome of your edge. Okay, but the reality of trading or thinking in probabilities has to do with 5 fundamental truths about the nature of the market and trading. Make what thing bigger or smaller? I'm not sure what you mean.
It's very complicated.
Well, the problem is that.
It's not the.
Oh, here we go. Okay, good. I was using this instead of this. Okay.
Okay, Mark. Mark, you're going. Anytime.
Okay. Now, if the casinos can make money by can make consistent money by taking an event that has a random outcome, or each individual event, each individual hand of blackjack has a random outcome in relationship to the last hand. We as traders can do the same thing, but we can only do it if we acquire the appropriate mindset. What I found the appropriate mindset to be is thinking that anything can happen. Not just thinking it, believing it. Believing that at any given moment, anything can happen. That every moment in the market is unique. Now, think about the word unique, about the definition of the word unique. Everyone probably understands or knows the definition of unique. Something not like anything else that ever existed. We understand the definition, but to actually believe that every moment is unique can be quite difficult because of the implications. The implications on our current set of beliefs, and as well as the way our minds are designed to think. Remember, our minds are designed to think in association, to link this moment, whatever's occurring right now in this moment, that's similar to something that's already in my brain. Something that's already in my brain as a memory is my past. And if every moment is truly unique, it means that in essence, my mind is not processing information in a way that's consistent with the way reality exists. Because what's going to happen is that, let's say for an example, I've got my edge, and my edge presents itself, and I execute my trades flawlessly for the first 3 trades. And they're all winners. And then the next occurrence of my edge comes up. My mind is designed to think in association, to take what's similar now in the environment. What's similar, because it can't be identical, although it may seem that way. But what's either similar or what we think of as identical, associate it with what's already in my mind, meaning I'm going to associate it with the past 3 trades. They've all been winners. It taps me into a nice, happy feeling. Possibly, again, like a state of euphoria. I might even cross that threshold. I have worked with traders where all it took was one winning trade to flip them into a state of euphoria. One, that's all. Just one winner, and they were flipped into a state of euphoria. And so the way my mind processes information is that I will automatically associate this now moment opportunity with my past, causing me to do what? Possibly make a trading error, right? I can make any number of errors. I can make a money management error. I might even jump the gun, get in too soon, because I think whatever's happening right now, I might miss out on it. Right? Or what if the last 3 trades were losers? Yeah, I probably won't take the trade. Why? Because my mind, the way it processed the information, caused me to enter into a state of mind that told me that this trade is a loser. The fact is, I, at a rational level anyway, do not know what's going to happen next. And the most important thing is I don't have to know to make money. I do not have to know what's going to happen next to make money as a trader. Does a casino have to know what's going to happen next on every single hand of blackjack to make money? Do they have to know what every number is going to come up next whenever the time they spin the roulette wheel? Or someone throws the dice and craps? No, they do not. And nor do we. We don't have to know what's going to happen next. And every time we get into a trade thinking that we do, for whatever reason, we have the potential to make a trading error and to create these huge drawdowns. Now, again, let's get back to the unique. Every moment is unique. How do we know for a fact that every moment in the environment is really unique? Not just the market, but in our everyday lives. How do we know, let's say, how can we establish that every moment is really unique? Is there any way to really establish it?
We change every moment, right?
Yeah, but I mean, so let's get down to a real fundamental level. How do we know that every moment's really unique?
Because every human being is unique.
Well, yeah, but how does that make every moment unique? Time. And what's happening over time?
Changes.
But what causes change? Movement, right? Movement over time causes change, meaning that what we know, what we understand and know is that every atom and every molecule spinning around every atom is in constant motion. That's at the most fundamental level. So in essence, for a moment not to be unique, for some moment in time not to be unique, every molecule of every atom would have to be in the exact same position it was in some previous moment. I don't think that's possible. I don't know that it is or it isn't. I mean, I don't know for sure. I just don't think it's possible. And therefore, as a result, it makes it easier for me to believe that every moment's unique. And as a result of believing that every moment's unique, it makes it easier for me to counteract this automatic mechanism in my mind that causes me to process information in a way that tells me that I think I know what's going to happen next, when the reality is I might not. What I think is happening, what's really happening, could be there could be a vast difference between the two. A perfect example would be one in trading in the zone where when I was many years ago when I was writing The Disciplined Trader, it was like on a Saturday afternoon. I'd been writing all day and I turned on the TV just to take a break, and it was late in the afternoon on a Saturday, and there was some locally produced program in Chicago called Gotcha Chicago. And what they did was just like, they did practical jokes on celebrities, but in this one segment they hired a guy to go out on Michigan Avenue, and they stuffed his pockets full of cash and gave him a sign that said "Free money today only." And his instructions were to give money to anybody who asked for it. That was his instructions. And so he went out on Michigan Avenue with this sign, and they had a film crew out there, hidden so that nobody could see what was happening. And first of all, he was shocked. You could tell he was shocked by the way that he was acting and the look on his face, because he thought that people would just come rushing to him asking for money. And they didn't. As a matter of fact, there were many people who were making a wide path around the guy. Now, if we make some assumptions here, one, that there were any number of people who passed him by that could read the sign. They actually, in fact, could read the sign, "Free money today only." And two, that money is very important to most people. As a matter of fact, maybe under other circumstances, crowds, people can get into a frenzied state of mind and act, act in very bizarre ways if they think money's free. So in essence, in some ways, he might have even been endangering himself and didn't even know it or think about it. So he was getting frustrated by the fact that nobody was asking him for money, and except for one guy. That's right. One guy came up to him and asked him for a quarter for a bus transfer. Okay? And I looked at this guy who's probably a panhandler, because there's a lot of panhandlers in downtown Chicago. So he got frustrated, and he walked up to some guy with a briefcase, typical guy's suit and briefcase, and said, "Sir, would you like some money?" And the guy said, "Not today." Really, not today. And he said, "Well, how many days does this happen?" And the guy just walked by him. Now, what does this example tell you about the nature of the way our minds have the potential to process information and the kind of interpretations that we can make? You can always tell what people believe based on their behavior. You can always extrapolate their behavior back to a belief, because it takes energy to express ourselves. Now think about this. There's any number of ways in any given moment that each of us can express ourselves. Meaning interact with whatever environmental forces are attendant upon any particular situation. It takes energy to express ourselves, and we will express ourselves in some way that is consistent with what? With what we believe is true in the moment, right? Are you guys with me on this? So if I really got good at this, I could take anybody's outward behavior in relationship to the circumstances and really say, well, this is what they had to believe to behave this way. This is what they had to believe to behave this way. So what can we say about the people that walked by the sign? They didn't believe it. They were operating out of a belief that free money does not exist. And in most cases, it does not. In this particular day, it did. It was real. It was true. Anything can happen. Every moment is unique. And what about the people? So what we have here, and this is what's really critically important for you to understand. I need another one of these. What's the other one? Can't find that other blank one. Oh, here it is. Okay. Consistency is the result of a state of mind. So we have positive, we have negative. In other words, we have degrees of fear and degrees of confidence, okay? Confidence is positive energy, fear is negative energy. And what we want as traders, ideally, is to be in a confident state of mind. A confident, carefree state of mind. Without the potential to define and interpret the up and down ticks in any particular painful way. So what we have in this situation with the free money is that every single belief that people were operating out of caused them to tap into a particular state of mind. From, let's say, from positive to negative, based on their interpretation. So we could say that the panhandler who asked for a quarter, got exactly what he asked for, and so therefore, he was tapped into some degree of a positive state of mind. Right? Now, the people who were actually going out of their way to avoid him, what could we say about their state of mind? Their belief and their state of mind. Negative, some degree of fear. In other words, first of all, let's look at the interpretation. They see the sign clearly says free money today only. And so the first thing that happens is that their belief that free money doesn't exist acts as a counteracting force against the force of those words, saying, okay, that's not true. They deny the existence of the words, that's not true, and therefore, but this creates a conflict. And our minds don't like to be in a state of conflict or confusion. And so we have to reconcile the conflict in some way. In other words, there is evidence that says that my belief that free money doesn't exist is right here in the environment, where it creates this conflicting force. How do we resolve the conflict? We justify it in some way by saying, okay, since that's not true, this guy must be crazy. And if he's crazy, he might be dangerous. And therefore, as a result, I am going to take a wide berth around him. So as soon as I interpreted that information in a way that caused me to define him as dangerous. It tapped me into some degree of a negative state of mind, okay, because of my fear. Now, let's take a hypothetical situation. Let's say somebody saw the sign and says to themselves, oh, okay, what if? What if? He walks up to the guy and says, okay, give me 20 bucks. Guy pulls out $20 out of his pocket and gives it to him. What's going to happen now? No, not everyone else saw that. Okay, just say that he did it. And what's going to happen to the person that asked for the money? What? No, well, not that he could. Yeah, it's possible.
belief thing.
Yeah, in other words, yeah, something has to happen. In other words, his belief about that free money doesn't exist is going to change. Not necessarily. You never know. It's hard. I mean, every circumstance is really different when it comes to this. But the point that I'm making is that his belief that free money doesn't exist will change. They'll draw some of the energy out of it. Maybe not all of it. But this is in essence what we're going to have to do as traders to install those 5 fundamental truths that I had up a moment ago. We're going to have to change the way we think if you want to create consistent results. But I'm going to finish with the example. Hold on one second. Let me finish the example. So what ends up happening is that he's got the 20 bucks in his pocket, and what he's going to do is he's going to end up going back to the office or go home, and virtually everyone, because there's some really powerful implications here. Virtually everyone is going to say the exact same words to whoever it is they encounter, like their spouse or their friends or whatever. You won't believe what happened to me today. But 3 words, you won't believe. And you're right, they probably won't. Because their belief that free money doesn't exist will say, no, that's not true. I don't believe you. And like somebody said before, what could flip him in from, let's say he's walking around in a positive state of mind because he got free money, he got a nice pleasant surprise from the environment, didn't expect it. But what could cause that state of mind to go from positive all the way down to negative? What's that? No, the moment he thinks, or someone says to him, well, why didn't he ask for 100? Why didn't he ask for more?
Cancels out what you're positive.
Yeah, and it flips you, missed opportunity. Then flips from positive to negative, missed opportunity. Now see, here's the problem with these negative states of mind. And why these negative states of mind make it virtually impossible for us to create consistent results. It doesn't mean you won't create results. It doesn't mean you won't have winning trades. All I'm saying is that you will always have the potential to create these huge catastrophic drawdowns. And when I say catastrophic drawdowns, because somebody asked me that, like the question in Toronto 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, what's a catastrophic drawdown? Well, I've worked with traders who were multimillionaires, and a catastrophic drawdown for them was, $1,000. They didn't have the tolerance to lose $1,000. So it's different for everybody. But the point that I'm making is that if we're trading with any degree of fear, what ends up happening is that fear as an energy has a very negative effect on our ability to stay objectively focused in the now moment opportunity flow. In other words, fear has the effect of narrowing our focus of attention onto the object of our fear so that we end up creating the very experience we're trying to avoid. So if I'm afraid of being wrong, I'll make myself wrong based on my interpretation of the information. If I'm afraid of losing money, I will cause myself to lose money based on my interpretation of the information. If I'm afraid of missing out, if I'm afraid of leaving money on the table, I will create these very circumstances that I'm trying to avoid. Go ahead.
Why can't we apply that same principle to greed?
To what?
Greed.
You're going to have to...
Fear. We do this for fear. Greed. We believe
Yeah.
to create something that makes us fearful. Why can't we have that for greed? So we have more greed and we can make more money and believe we make more money. Why is
Well, because the problem is because greed is the fear of there not being enough. The underlying fear behind greed is that there won't be enough, and I've got to get mine. And the I got to get mine part, causes us to do things. It causes us to do things that are going to be inappropriate in relationship to what the market's offering in that moment.
Greed is actually a form of fear.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. What else could it be? The only reason why we're greedy is because we think we're not good. It's not going to be there for me. There isn't enough. Okay, well, look, I lost my train of thought here. I was going to get into something. What was I going to say? Oh, no, yeah, okay. No, I got it. Yeah, here's, see, so what we've got to do here